Hello, it's Yogi Jo here. Welcome to your aligned practice. Today, we're going to be working on how to build your balance in your practice. The most important things when it comes to balance is to remember it's not just in the body, it's also in your life. And so, by cultivating balance, not only physically, but also mentally, emotionally, we're actually working on balance as a whole concept. And what's really helpful when working with balance is looking at what throws you off. It's always easier to look at what we don't want as opposed to what we do want. What we do want is obviously our intention, but what we don't want gives us our building blocks to get there, which is falling over, which is making mistakes, which is getting off track. So in our practice, what we're going to do is allow for greater alignment in the body, remembering that everything's connected and using that awareness to improve our balance, not only in our body, but also in our mind and in our life. So I look forward to our practice together, and I'll see you in there very soon. Okay, so welcome to our Align class for this evening, and today we're going to be focusing on building the balance in our practice. So you might notice sometimes when you're practicing your yoga, getting into position quickly enough and having a sense of being grounded and balanced is sometimes a little difficult, particularly when we're learning something new. So today we're going to be focusing on the elements that support building balance in our practice and also give us a few little tips and tricks that we can do to enhance that, as well as particular postures that also enhance that. So when you're ready, we're going to start standing, and the feet are going to be hip width apart. And the reason why it's hip width apart is because then we've got alignment underneath the hips. And our hips are quite heavy, just like our head's quite heavy and our shoulders are quite heavy. So when we're able to stack these, it means that we're a lot more balanced in our alignment already. Whereas if our feet were really wide or our feet were narrower, it's working outside of the normal frame that we're in. So that's why having the feet hip width apart just gives us naturally more stability. Another thing that we focus on is having a softness in the joints, which means a slight bend. And that can be a bend that you can feel, like a micro bend, but I can't see. But it's a sense of not being locked in the joints. There's a softness there so that the muscles around the joint are actually doing the work rather than the joint itself. And this is also really helpful, preventing the wear and tear on our body, preventing osteoarthritis and things like that. So we want to make sure it's the muscles that are doing the work and the bones are just helping to guide the muscles in certain directions using joints. So there's a softness in the knees, which is typically a place where people tend to lock. There's a softness in the hips, again, where we tend to lock. There's a softness in the spine, in the shoulders, in the elbows, in the fingers, and also in the toes, the head, the neck. Everything, ideally, when we practice, should be soft in the sense of bones, but strong in the sense of the activation of the muscles. And as we go through, you'll experience that more. Another really important point is to make sure that we're breathing. Typically, when we hold the breath, we also lock ourselves up. It makes it really difficult to then flow to something else. So making sure we're able to breathe and also having a focal point in front of us, which in yoga we call drishti, usually training on the horizon, a horizon that you can visualize is really helpful as well. So when you're ready, let's separate the toes nice and wide, increasing the surface area to ground through the feet. And as you're ready, we're going to allow the arms to reach up towards the sky and just get a little bit more movement into the body. And we're going to come up onto the toes, extending the fingers up towards the sky, and already just noticing what happens to the balance when we come up onto the toes. This is helping us train our balance as we shift our weight and we move in our practice. When you're ready, let's lower the heels back down, feeling the feet ground down on the floor, and we'll draw the hands down through the heart space. Fingers point down, and we'll gently start to curl ourselves down. Feeling the stretch through the back of the body. And just letting yourself rest down here for a few moments, allowing the head to release any thoughts from the day. Letting your whole self just fold forwards. Balanced on your feet. Hips nice and high. Opening our back body. As you're ready, we're going to inhale, taking the hands to the shins, extending the body weight forwards. Lower ribs are in and spine is extending forwards. Opening more through the hamstrings now, taking care not to lock through the knees. The more we press down through the four corners of the feet and the more we spread the toes, the better and more grounded the surface area so that we're not going to topple over. When you're ready, we're going to lower the hands down and step both feet back into a plank position. And just notice even how the stability changes if the fingers are wide versus if the fingers are close together. How stable you feel. And also noticing if you press down the hands into the floor, how this helps to engage the muscles of the hands, of the arms, so that you feel more strong and supported as opposed to just kind of collapsing a little through the joints. So we press down into the hands to engage all the way up to the shoulders and even the core. Noticing as well, if we ground the knees, how much more stable you feel. So the more contact points we have with the floor, the more comfortable and stable we are. All right, from here we're going to squeeze the elbows in towards the midline, heart draws forwards. And we're going to try and lower in a balanced way. So nice straight line down towards the floor. Let's allow the feet to untuck underneath us as the belly comes down. And press into the hands, fingers still spread nice and wide to lift the gaze gently. So we're just allowing a little rise off the floor. From here, as you're ready, let's press a little more into the hands, maybe lift the hips. And pressing down into those fingers, fingers still spread nice and wide, and maybe lifting the gaze to the horizon. Let's start to deepen the breath in the body, maybe in through nose, out through mouth. Pressing evenly through the hands, noticing if there's more weight in one or the other. And as you're ready, pressing into the hands and drawing the lower ribs in and taking the hips to the heels. Stretching the arms out in front, stretching the spine back behind, chin tucks in. And just breathing deeper into the back body. Maybe even experimenting with breathing in and out through the nose with a gentle constriction at the base of the throat. This creates a beautiful oceanic sound known as the Ujjayi breath. And this sound helps us to focus our mind and bring more balance to the mind. Next, inhale, allowing the gaze to lift and then walking the hands over towards the right, hips over towards the left, creating lateral flexion in the body. Here we're opening all the way up through the left side. We're even through the shoulders if we can be, even weight through the hands if we can. And the purpose of stretching out before we do more of our balancing is to make sure that the muscles are nice and open and receptive. Also that we've got blood flow to all areas of the body. This helps us to reduce the tension of different areas and create more balance globally throughout the body. Next inhale, we're drawing the hands back to center, hips back to center, and just exhale to relax down for a second. And then inhale, gently lift the gaze and walk the hands over towards the left, hips over towards the right. Lowering the gaze between the arms and stretching out that right side now. Letting the breath expand as you inhale and contract as you exhale. Helping the muscles to open and release the tension that's been held in certain areas of the body that you're noticing right now. And then as you're ready, drawing the hands back to center, hips back to center, we're going to tuck our toes. Hands are shoulder width apart. Fingers are spread nice and wide, middle fingers parallel to each other in the outer edges of our mat. We're going to tuck our toes, lift our knees, feet are hip width apart again, and then we're going to lift our hips, finding our downward facing dog. Just noticing where the weight is in the hands and the feet and seeing if you can evenly distribute it a little bit more. Drawing the armpits inwards towards each other to help activate all the way up into the shoulders. Noticing how if you took your hands wider, it would make you feel more unstable in the shoulders. And similarly, if you took your hands narrower, it might also feel that way. Also feel a little constricting. But by having the hands shoulder width apart, we're a lot more stable because we're literally stacking the joints, even though we're upside down. If your hamstrings are tight, just create a bit more softness in the knees. And if you're feeling a lot of tension in the shoulders, maybe just draw them a little further away from the ears. Let's take 3 deep breaths here. Pressing evenly through the hands and feet down into the earth, lifting through the hips. Body weight keeps drawing a little further back towards the heels. And again, if the hamstrings are tight, another option is to let the heels lift a little bit. So more weight comes into the toes. All right, as you're ready, we're going to come all the way up onto the toes, bend the knees and step the feet behind the wrists. And then draw them a little under the hips. Inhale, hands to shins, extending forwards. Body weight draws a little into the balls of the feet, but keep those heels grounded. Exhale, lower yourself down, let the head hang for a few moments, let the neck lengthen, and then press into the feet, curl yourself up one vertebra at a time. Just feeling all those joints stacking as you come up. As the torso comes up, let's inhale the arms up once again. Exhale up onto the toes. Nice, and then lowering the heels, taking the hands to the heart. Lovely. When we balance, it can also be really helpful to press into the hands. That helps to activate a little bit more through the arms, but also particularly through the core. There's a feeling of everything pressing inwards, and that helps to zip everything up, engaging all of our deep core muscles. From here, as you're ready, we're going to transfer the weight over into the right leg and see what it's like to lift the left leg away. Just hovering it off the floor, maybe rotating a little through the left ankle. If that's too easy, then maybe having a bit of a play of rotating through the knee. And if that's quite easy, maybe having a go at rotating through the hip. Keep pressing into those hands. Just taking 3 more breaths wherever you are. Exploring your balance. And if you fall over, it's a beautiful part of exploring our balance, because that tells us, oh, maybe I put that foot a little far over, or maybe I moved a little too quickly for what my body was able to handle. All right, as you're ready, let's lower that left leg down. Let's inhale the arms up. Exhale up on toes. Lowering the heels, taking the hands to the heart. Just noticing from that previous exercise, has the mind clicked into, oh, my balance isn't very good, or my balance is excellent? Notice if you feel like your balance is excellent, if you think your balance is excellent, it will be. If you think your balance is not good, then it won't be. The mind is also a really important part of this. And a really great way to get out of the mind is just come back to the breath, come back to what you can focus on. So maybe it's the pressing in of the hands, or maybe it's the softening of the joints, or maybe it's the drishti, the focus on the horizon, or maybe it's the grounding through the left foot as we transition the body weight over. So seeing now, when you're ready, what it's like to lift the right foot away, maybe rotate through that ankle. Even if that's too much, you can just rest the right heel against the left leg, and that in itself will create balance and strengthening in the body. If you're quite comfy here, maybe we move through the knee. Just noticing what happens as you do so. And then maybe have a go through the right hip. See what it's like in both directions. Taking care not to lock into that left knee. Let's take 2 more breaths. And then as you're ready, planting the right foot down. Inhale, reaching the arms up. Exhale up on toes. Inhale through the midline. Exhale, rolling down. Inhale, hands to shins, even weight through the feet, toes spread nice and wide. Exhale, press the hands into the floor, stepping back into your plank. Dropping the knees down as you're ready, armpits engage inwards towards each other, pressing firmly into those hands, fingers spread nice and wide. Heart forwards, bending through the elbows to lower down with control. Tops of the feet to the floor, inhale, chest lifts, maybe hips lift. Pressing evenly into the hands to help open through the chest. Pressing evenly into the tops of the feet to feel the engagement through the lower abdomen, lower legs. Exhale, press into the hands, drawing hips back to heels, tuck toes. Downward facing dog. Let's take 3 breaths here. Armpits engaging inwards towards each other, maybe lifting through the arches of the feet to help translate a little bit more weight to the outer edges of the feet. Taking care to keep the toes nice and separated. And keep the body weight drawing back towards the heels. Nice work. As you're ready, pressing into the left foot, right leg lifts, 3-legged dog. Noticing what it's like to balance on that left leg. Notice what it's like to flex those right toes back towards the shin, and see if you can keep the hips even. See if you can evenly press into your hands. 2 more breaths. 1 more breath. Then as you're ready, let's lower that right foot down. Planting the right foot firmly. If you need to take it a little closer, that's fine. Armpits engaged, even pressure through the hands, left leg lifts. Flexing left toes back towards the kneecap to the shin. Even through the hips, even through the shoulders, body weight still drawing towards that right foot. Gaze towards the right big toe. 3 more breaths. If at any time you need to take it a little easier, you increase the surface area in contact with the floor by lowering your right knee down. Beautiful work. As you're ready, let's lower that left foot down. Inhale up on toes. Exhale, bend knees. Walking the feet up behind the hands. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold. Pressing into the feet, curling yourself up. Reaching your arms up. Exhale, up on toes. Lowering the heels, taking the hands to the heart space once again. This time we're going to make it a little more of a hold into tree pose. So we'll keep pressing the palms into prayer position at the heart space, broaden the shoulders, soften the shoulders down, and we're stacking the shoulders, the ears, the hips, the knees, the feet to maximize our ability to balance. Cultivating the breath by breathing in and out. And then as you're ready, starting to transition your weight over into your left leg. Feeling the foot grounded firmly on the floor, toes spread nice and wide. And then maybe seeing what it's like to lift the right leg a little higher, bending the knee, flexing the toes. Maybe noticing if you release the toes, it's a little harder to keep the balance, but if you flex them, by engaging the muscles, it helps you to hold the posture. From here, let's take our right knee out to the side. And depending on where the leg is, it might be right toes resting on the floor, heel against the inner line of the left leg. It might be right foot to the calf, or it might be up into the hamstring, just making sure that the foot's not resting on the knee. If you'd like, and you feel like you've got your balance, you can draw your right foot a little higher up the left thigh, pressing firmly into those hands, grounding down through that left foot. Find your drishti, find your gaze to help you build your focus, which creates more balance. And if you really want to give yourself a challenge, think about what you're going to eat for dinner and see how that affects the balance. Or think about something that's completely unrelated to what you're doing right now. And then perhaps think about where in our lives we're meant to be doing one thing, but we're actually thinking about something completely different. And this is where the balance in our yoga practice can become really helpful. Right, as you're ready, allowing the right knee forwards, stepping the right foot down. Inhale, reaching the arms up. Exhale, up on toes. Inhale through the midline. Exhale, curling all the way down. Inhale, halfway, hands to shins. Exhale, plant hands, stepping back into your plank. Option of drawing the knees down to the ground or keeping the knees lifted. If you're noticing your hips are too high or too low, the knees need to be grounded. If you've got a nice straight line between your shoulders, hips and heels, then maybe we work our plank, heart forwards, and lower through our chaturanga, full chaturanga down to the floor. Tops of feet to floor, inhale, lifting the chest, lifting the hips, and maybe this time we press into the tops of the feet and also lift the knees. Opening through the collarbones, opening through the shoulders, gaze is on the horizon, focus is on the breath. Good work. If your knees are lifted, you can lift the hips to roll over the toes. If your knees were grounded, take the hips back to the heels first, then tuck your toes and find your downward facing dog. Let's take 2 more breaths here. Even pressure through the hands and feet. Fingers, toes spread nice and wide. Lifting through the inner arches of the feet. Armpits engaged inwards towards each other. Beautiful. Next, inhale, coming up on toes. Exhale, bend knees. You can step up or have a little play with jumping up behind your wrists. Take the feet hip width. Inhale, hands to shins. Exhale, fold. Inhale, pressing into the feet, curling yourself up. Feeling the joints stacking one on top of the other. Inhale, reaching arms up. Exhale, up on toes. Good. Lowering the heels, taking the hands to the heart space. Pressing into those palms once again. Find your breath once again. Soften the shoulders, feel the length in the spine, feel your feet grounded on the floor. Feel the stacking of the ears above shoulders, shoulders above hips, hips above knees and feet. Toes spread nice and wide. And then transitioning your body weight over into the right leg. As you feel the weight move up and down in that straight line through the whole right side, maybe see what it's like to lift the left leg away. And again, notice what it's like if the foot is just relaxed or pointing down versus flexing it towards you, activating the muscles. Taking a few breaths here as the body gets used to balancing. Find your drishti, find your gaze on the horizon internally and externally. And then as you're ready, taking the foot to meet the right inner thigh or calf or ankle. Staying here or perhaps seeing what it's like to draw that left foot a little higher, pressing foot and leg into one another to help draw that left knee out to the side. Keep pressing into the hands. Noticing how we use resistance to activate the muscles to help us build balance. Using the breath, using the softening of the joints. 3 more breaths. 2 and 1. Gently lowering as you're ready. Well done. Inhale, reaching arms up. Exhale, up on toes. Inhale through the midline. Exhale, rolling down. Inhale, hands to shins, extending forwards. Exhale, plant hands, stepping back into your plank. Knees grounded or lifted, breathing in, pressing down through those hands and feet. Exhale, lower, using the resistance of the floor to help you engage your core. Maybe rolling over your toes, straight into upward facing dog with the knees lifted. Exhale, hips to heels or roll over toes, downward facing dog. Let's take 5 breaths this time.
Fingers, toes spread nice and wide, lifting through the arches, pressing down through the tips of fingers, base of palm. Maybe even feeling a slight lift of the inner palm, like a suction cup or a plunger. 2 more breaths. Relax the head and neck. 1 more breath. Well done. Pressing into your left foot, right leg lifts, 3-legged dog. Flexing those right toes back towards the kneecap. Then as you're ready, drawing your right knee into the chest and drawing your shoulders over your wrists, pressing down into the hands. Step that right foot as far forwards as you can. Keeping the left heel lifted. Positioning your right ankle under your right knee. Press into your feet, making sure that the base, the positioning of the feet, is where you can feel stability before you take your hands away and draw up. Nice. Making sure you're completely on your mat or the surface that you're working on, so your feet are at the same height. Keep a slight bend in the back knee. Hips even, so your right hip is going to draw back, your left hip is going to draw forwards. Your back heel is lifted, so you're up on the back toes. Beautiful. From here, your shoulders draw over your hips. And if possible, arms over shoulders. But if that's uncomfortable, just take the hands back to the heart again. Tailbone is scooping under. Crown is extending up to the sky. Gaze is towards the horizon. Nice deep breaths here. Feeling like you're trying to draw everything inwards, just like when you were pressing your hands together before, to help you engage your core to find your balance. 2 more breaths. 1 more breath. Well done. Reaching the arms forwards, torso forwards, hands come down. Stepping back into your plank. Breathing in. Exhale, lower. Inhale, opening into your back bend of choice, taking your time and remembering that you just do what feels okay. Exhale, downward facing dog. 5 breaths. If at any time it's too much, you just lower the knees down. Nice work. As you feel ready, planting the right foot, left leg lifts, 3-legged dog, flexing the toes back towards the kneecap to the shin. Even pressure through the hands. Nice deep breath in. Exhale, drawing left knee into chest. Draw the shoulders over the wrist, press into those hands. Step that left foot forwards as far up as you can, ideally between the hands. Creating a right angle with that front knee. Nice straight line between hip, knee, and ankle. Right heel is lifted. Right knee is bent. So we've got both knees bent. Press firmly into your feet and then allow the hands to lift away. Let's take the hands to the heart first. Tailbone scoops under, lower ribs in. Pressing into those palms, shoulders back and down. And then if it feels available, reaching the arms up.
Sink a little deeper if it feels available. Feeling the squeezing in towards the midline. 3, 2, and 1. Extending the arms forwards and then down. Stepping back into your plank. Well done. Breathing in. Exhale, lower. Maybe hover and draw straight through to your upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. 5 breaths. Again, if you need to rest, knees come down, armpits engage inwards towards midline, lift through the arches of the feet, fingers, toes spread nice and wide. Softness in the joints. Pressing down into the hands and feet to create the resistance to engage the muscles. 2 more breaths. Last one. Well done. Inhale up on toes. Exhale, bend knees. Step or jump forwards. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, curl up by pressing into the feet. Reaching the arms up. Exhale up on toes. Inhale through the midline. And exhale, releasing the palms in front, finding your Tadasana, your mountain pose. Your feet once again are hip width. There's a softness in the knees. There's a softness in the shoulders. There's an openness through the heart. Let's close the eyes. Using the breath to ease any tensions that may have arisen from our practice so far. Noticing whether the mind is focused on the breath or has gone elsewhere. And if it has, just taking your awareness down into your feet. Feeling your feet on the earth, grounding you down, helping you stand strong, vital, and balanced. Maybe re-engaging your Ujjayi breath if it's moved on somewhere along the way as you breathe in and out through the nose with the gentle constriction at the base of the throat. 2 more breaths. Last one. Nice work as you're already opening the eyes if they were closed, reaching the arms out to the sides and up, coming up on those toes as you exhale. Really reaching the fingers to the sky, really pressing the toes down into the earth, lowering the heels down. Creating a little bit more of a dynamic in our balance now as we draw the hands to the heart, pressing into those palms to broaden across the shoulders and also help to engage the core. Tuck the tailbone under a little to also help to engage the core. And when you're ready, we're going to transition the weight over into the left leg and draw the right knee in towards the chest with the toes flexed. As you're ready, see what it's like to extend the leg out, and it might just be the tiniest little movement. And then as you're ready, the knee draws back in, and then you tilt your torso a little forwards, and the leg draws behind. And then as you're ready, we draw the knee back in and extend forward. And then we draw back in and we extend behind. Do it one more time. Drawing in, extend out, drawing in, extend back. Well done. Stepping that right foot next to the left. Inhale, reaching arms up. Exhale, up on toes. Inhale through the midline. Exhale, curl down. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, plant hands, find your plank. Feet hip width, hands shoulder width, fingers toes spread wide. Breathing in. If you need, knees down. Exhale, lower with control. Inhale, opening into your upward facing dog or just hips lifted. Exhale, downward facing dog. Once again, 5 breaths, option of knees to the floor, armpits engaging towards midline, lifting through the arches of the feet, doing really well. Fingers, toes spread nice and wide. Good work. Inhale, up on toes. Exhale, bend knees. Step or jump forward. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, curl yourself up by pressing into your feet. Reaching the arms up. Exhale, up on toes. Lowering the heels, taking the hands to the heart, pressing into those hands. Grounding into the feet, feet hip width, so straight under the hips. Shoulders over the hips. Body weight now draws into the right leg, feeling that alignment of weight in the body. Tailbone scoops under, lower ribs in. Shoulders down, chin drawing towards the neck just a little. All right, as you're ready, let's see what it's like to draw that left knee in a little. Extend the left leg out. Draw the left leg in. And extend it behind. Even if it's the tiniest movement. Find your drishti, find your gaze. Inhale, drawing knee in. Find your horizon. Exhale, pressing out. Inhale, drawing in. Exhale, back behind. Only one more to go. Inhale, drawing in. Exhale, out in front. Inhale, drawing in. Exhale, back behind. Inhale, drawing in. And step it down. Well done. Inhale, reaching arms up. Exhale, up on toes. Inhale through the midline. Exhale, rolling down. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, plant hands. Find your plank as you step back. Inhale, pressing down into the floor. Exhale, lower down. Maybe you hover, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. 5 breaths. Child's pose if you would prefer. Really feeling that sense of even balance in the body. You've done all this work to align everything. Now let's just focus a little more on the breath and the feeling.
Relax your head, relax your neck, and allow a little more softening.
Beautiful.
If you're still in your downward facing dog, let's take the knees down. Let's take the hips to the heels. Let's take that right hand over to the left side of the mat. Left hand over to the right side of the mat and just walk the hands out. Let the chin extend forwards and then curl it in towards the body. Stretching out between the shoulder blades after all those downward facing dogs. Letting go of all that form that we've created. Trusting that the practice has allowed a recalibration of the body, of our whole being. Now we'll just soften everything as we stretch through the last 15 minutes. Next inhale draws the hands in. Exhale draws the hands out to the sides. Opposite arm in front. So right arm is now on top, left arm is underneath. We stretch through the fingers. Chin draws forwards, then tucks in. Let's take 5 breaths here. Feeling the back of the ribs opening out as the breath draws deeper and deeper into the back body. On your next inhale, we're going to draw the arms in, let the torso lift, and then draw the hands back behind the hips. Bending into the elbows, pressing into the heels of the hands to open the chest, drawing the shoulders towards each other, pressing down into the hands. And if you're comfortable here, pressing into the tops of the feet and the shins and lifting the hips away. If you're comfortable here, maybe lifting the gaze to the sky, just to open the throat a little more after our downward facing dogs, our planks. Just helps to open up the chest in the opposite direction, helping to regain blood flow to the front of the torso. 2 more breaths, engaging the buttocks towards the midline, pressing evenly through the hands and the legs. And then as you're ready, chin tucks in and the hips lower down, pressing into the hands. Then just drawing the hips to one side. As you're ready, let's take the soles of the feet together, the knees out wide. This is going to help to open through the back of the pelvis. As you're ready, inhale, reaching the arms up. Exhale, reach forwards. As you find your maximum, lowering the hands down, palms face up. If your hands don't really go beyond the legs, you can just take the thumbs to the balls of the feet and just peel open the balls like a book. And this is going to help to open through the lower back and the pelvis a bit more. The reason why we're opening through the pelvis a bit more is because with all of the standing postures, the downforce of gravity can compress a little through the spine, which we experience all the time when we're standing. But this posture here just helps to open up the whole back of the pelvis and the lower back, which helps to create relief. So let's take a nice deep breath in, lengthen a little out, and then exhale, move a little deeper. If the hands are out in front and you're feeling a bit of a niggle
on the right side of the hip, the pelvis. You might walk the hands over towards the left a little bit. If your hands are on your feet, you might just choose to rest your arms on your leg. There's a whole heap of pressure points along the inside. Any one of them could be quite good for you. Or you can just plant the hands, whatever allows you to feel the sense of stretch. Just taking some nice deep breaths into where you're feeling it. Maybe tuck the chin in a little to open through the back of the neck. And then if you want to do the other side, you just gently, gently transition through the middle and then gently move over to the opposite. Nice deep breaths help to calm the nervous system, help to relax the muscles, and also help to massage our beautiful organs inside of our ribs, in front and behind our spine. And then as you're ready, let's draw ourselves back to center and lift up. From here, as you're ready, drawing the knees towards each other, feet are hip width apart, drawing the pelvis towards the heels, taking hold of the elbows around the knees. Inhale to press into the feet to lift up through the spine, feeling that stacking of the shoulders and the hips once again, and the alignment with the feet, and then just tucking the chin in towards the chest. Just taking a few deep breaths up and down the back of the neck, between the shoulder blades. Just stretching out after all those downward facing dogs. There might be a little tension residing somewhere along the spine from imbalance. And here we just stretch that out. As you're ready, taking a nice deep inhale up the spine. And then exhale, maybe gazing towards your right shoulder. And then maybe lifting the gaze over to the right side of the room, breathing up and down the left side of the neck. And then maybe up towards the sky. And then over to the left side of the room, breathing up and down right side of neck. And then down towards the left shoulder. Just releasing any tension that may have arisen at the top of the shoulders and the neck from our movements today. And then taking the chin into the chest. Just taking another deep breath up the spine. And then exhale, allowing the hands to the shins and just gently curling yourself down. And then when you're ready, taking the hands by the sides, drawing your spine all the way down to the floor. Drawing the heels a little closer in. Just creating a little bit more opening through the front of our hips by pressing into the feet and lifting the hips up to the sky into a bridge pose. And again, just to open the chest a little more, let's interlace the fingers underneath the body. The fist of the fingers draws towards the heels, shoulders towards each other, and then down the spine, back of the head presses into the floor. And we press firmly into the feet, knees above the ankles, just to create more stability through the legs and the hips, helping them to lift up a little higher as you contract the buttocks. Let's take 4 more breaths here. As you finish your 4th breath, releasing the hands from under the body, palms face up, and just lowering the hips down. From here, we're going to cross the right knee over the left, maybe walk the left foot a little closer to the center, take the arms out shoulder height. If you're close to something, just bend the elbows so that the wrists are in alignment with the elbows and the elbows are in alignment with the shoulders, and you press the shoulder blades down into the floor.
Nice deep breath in. Exhale, take the legs over towards the left, gazing out over the right elbow if that feels good, or the right hand. And just allowing this twist to relieve any tension that may have arisen from our balancing, from our different postures. And maybe breathing in a spiral up and down your body. You feel this twist stretching out all your muscles, particularly on the right side, across to the left. And then as you're ready, we're going to take the knees back to center, gaze back to center, swap over the legs. Nice deep breath in. Exhale, knees over to the right. Gazing out over the left elbow. And again, feeling that stretch, moving on the diagonal, opening through the left side all the way over to the right. Sometimes to create more relaxation in the pose, we can close our eyes, helping to create more internal balance. And then as you're ready, let's draw the gaze and the knees back to center. Uncross the legs. And we'll hug the knees into the chest. And then from here, we're going to invert the body to create more balance by extending the legs, and we'll point and flex through the toes. The reason why we're doing this is because gravity has just been drawing our blood all the way down into the legs with all of this balancing we've been doing, all of this grounding we've been doing. Same with the arms, which you might choose to lift up as well, where we can rotate through the wrists, we spread out through the fingers, spread out through the toes. This just gives us a bit of a chance to return that blood back towards the heart, improving our circulation. This will also help to reduce any pain and swelling from more fluid being in the extremities as a result of our practice. And then from here, as you're ready, let's allow the legs to lower out in front and draw the soles of the feet together. And just taking your right hand to your lower abdomen, your left hand to your heart, softening your shoulders down, your spine into the mat. Tucking the chin in a little to just lengthen through the back of the neck. And let's just work with our balancing breath, which is 4 counts breathing in and 4 counts breathing out. Continuing this breath for 5 more rounds, which means an inhale and an exhale, each for 4 counts, is 1 round. And if 4 isn't enough, you might include or increase it up to 5 or to 6 or to 8, whatever feels right for your breath.
And if it's feeling really good to keep breathing this way, continuing. If it's feeling really good to be in this position, continuing. Otherwise, releasing your legs out in front, greater than hip width apart, toes flop out to the sides. And maybe releasing your arms out to the sides, palms face up. And just adjusting yourself so you're completely comfortable. If you want to grab a blanket or you want to grab a top or something to make yourself warm, please go right ahead. It'll help you relax. And if you're not working your 4-count breath, maybe let's just take 3 deep breaths, inhaling through the nose and out through the mouth, maybe with a sigh. Just letting any last little something be released from your body, from your mind, from your soul, from your spirit, whatever needs to be released. And then allowing everything to become soft and heavy as it melts into the earth. As you're ready, starting to deepen your breath in your body. Allowing a little movement back into the fingers and the toes, the wrists, the ankles, the knees, the elbows, the hips, the shoulders, the spine, the head, the neck, Then maybe drawing your legs together and reaching your arms above the head and just moving a little through your hips. Then as you're ready, bending through your knees and rolling over onto your side, letting the bottom arm be a pillow for your head and the top hand rests in front of your heart. Let's take some nice deep breaths into our back body. And as you're ready, keeping the veils of the eyes closed as you wind your way up to your comfortable seat. Feeling your shoulders rest above your hips. Letting your palms face up towards the sky to open the chest, the ears above the shoulders, the crown drawing up to the sky. Just taking some nice deep breaths into the space you have created through all of this alignment and focus on balance. As you're ready, taking the palms into prayer position at the heart space, thumbs touch the heart. This mudra helps to create balance in body and mind and in all levels of our being. Maybe feeling the beat of your heart underneath your hand. And as you're ready, let's draw the thumbs to the third eye, to the sky. Separate the palms and draw the hands down to the earth and just bow down as you ground your practice deep within your psyche. Making a statement of creating and cultivating improved balance in your life. You're already pressing into your hands to draw your torso back up, drawing the hands to the heart space, completing our cycle with one round of Om, breathing in if you're joining me. Just letting the sound of universal consciousness flow through you. And the peace from the balance in your practice. So you're already allowing a little bit more movement through your body. And then maybe drawing the hands back to the heart and bowing the hands and the head down. Acknowledging the light within each of us as we say the word Namaste. And then drawing yourself back up as you're ready. Just noticing the presence that you feel within yourself. And then allowing the eyes to open. Thank you for joining me for this balancing practice. We'll be taking a little further in subsequent alignment practices, just so we can really start to cultivate this centeredness, this groundedness, not only in our practice, but in our life. see you next time. How did you go? What did you notice with regards to your balance? What poses worked really well for you? And what sides work really well for you? When did you feel a little off kilter? And when did you feel completely strong, stable, and grounded in yourself, in your legs, in your arms? So these are the type of questions I invite you to have a little look into post-practice. And also notice, particularly the ones that were a little difficult, they're the ones that are probably worth practicing. And if you couldn't do the full variation, see if you can find a way to do it that's a little bit easier for your body, but still activates the same muscles, still kind of has the same feeling. And if you need any help at all, as always, just reach out, please comment below, and we can work on your balance together. I'll see you next time.